Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video I'd like to look at a TS3 sell setup that arrived on the NQ on Friday afternoon. Now I want to look at this because this will be a losing trade, and I think it's important that when we do videos we actually show losing trades as well as good trades, because it's not fair just to show good results all the time. Now today I'll be using our MTP RT add-ons for NinjaTrader 7, which you're looking at here. Now the first thing I want to say is this TS3 sell setup is, let's have a look at the STF color. I think the STF color is, let's have a look at the cursor here. The crosshairs there. There's the TS3 sell. It was just on a blue STF, so this would have been an advanced trade because it would have been against the STF color. So standard traders would not be considering this. I'll just take that cursor off. So why would advanced traders be considering this? Well, advanced traders normally start off with the 15-minute trend. So if I draw a 15-minute chart, we then put our larger degree DPs on as areas of larger degree support and resistance. So here's the high of the start of the trading session on Friday, which is what we're looking at. Here is the initial decline down. Here's a correction, and our TS3 sell was in here. So why would we be considering it? Well, this would have been what I would have considered a Holy Grail trade setup. Now, Holy Grail trade setups are brilliant trade setups, not because they have a high percentage of winning. In other words, a high win percentage is because when they do win, they win large. But they don't win all the time. And I know I've done lots of videos on some very good Holy Grail trade setups, so that's why today I want to show you one that lost, because it's important to see the other side. So let's see the setup. I'll go back to a prior important pivot, which there's one here. If I right mouse click, I do decision point, and can you see how this decision point here would have nailed the high of the day on Friday? Just to extend this across a bit, I use the NinjaTrader drawing tools. I grab a rectangle, and I just go out like that to just effectively make the decision point a little bit wider. Now remember, these decision points are on your charts in advance. In other words, they are leading indicators. So before the day even opened on Friday, you'd have had this decision point on your chart and you'd have been aware of this major resistance area. Let's go down to the 3-minute chart and see what this looks like on the 3-minute chart. So here you can see our 15-minute resistance. It was held over by the rectangle of NinjaTrader's drawing tools. So here, major resistance. The market then made an initial decline down into here. In Elliott wave terms, we consider that a wave 1. We're now looking for an ABC correction. An ABC correction up here, A, B, C, into our TS3 sell. If I right mouse click here, place analysis on, you can see that we would have got a potential sell here, but the point being is that because this was a Holy Grail trade setup, we wouldn't be going into the initial target here of a potential 5.6R. Oops, just trying to drag the chart up and down here in NinjaTrader. I can never remember how you do this. Let's just do that. So I'll just scrunch it up a bit. Not very ideal, but there we go. So we wouldn't be going for the first target, which is here. We'd be going for the typical wave 3 WPT, which is down here. So if I now replace the risk reward on manually by 2 clicks around the bar entry, ideally we'd be looking for the market to come down to this typical wave 3 WPT. And as you can see, the potential profit was absolutely massive at a potentially 14R. In other words, turning initial risk of approximately $400 into, well, nearly 6,000 or 5,800. So you can see why I was getting excited about this and thought this was potentially an amazing trade. Now this had all the hallmarks of a perfect Holy Grail trade setup. The 15-minute resistance, nailing the high initially. Our initial decline down, potential wave 1. ABC correction up, potential wave 2, down for a potential wave 3. However, if we now look at what the NQ actually did, it took you into a short trade, went down a bit, went sideways, went up and just stopped you out for a -1R loss. And that's why I've done this video, to show that the actual trade setup was perfect. In other words, it was a perfectly valid Holy Grail trade setup, except the market had other ideas. Remember, we use our correct position sizing here to keep the number of contracts, lots or shares small and under control, in this case less than 2% of a sample $20,000 account. So even though it was a losing trade, the loss was kept small at -1R. Now remember that most Holy Grail trade setups tend to make large profits, 4, 5, 6, 7R profit, so losing a -1R on this one was perfectly acceptable. So I think it's important that any software developer like us here at MTPredictor, we do show losing trades, and we do show analysis that was perfectly valid at the time, but the market would have just otherwise made a losing -1R trade there. So that's the main reason for this video. Other markets on Friday, most of them were very choppy and sideways. The only one I would like to look at was the Russell Index, which on standard and automatic trade setups actually had a very good day. STF was blue, therefore the trend was up. We had a lovely TS2 buy setup here. If I placed the analysis on, that would have had you long from the very bar of the low of the day. Market went all the way up into this area here. STF is blue, so there was an opportunity for some pyramiding in and around that trade setup there. You'd have avoided this sell because it was against the blue STF. Come up to this level here, market hit the first target. STF was weak, in other words less than our strength band, so that would have been a 6R profit. So on the standard MTPredictor trade setups for Friday, the Russell Index was the star, giving you a long trade from the very low of the day for a potential 6R profit. So even though on our Holy Grail analysis on the NQ, which again I must stress was perfectly valid, the trade setup here did actually make a -1R loss. So even though the Russell Index had a very good trade setup, the reason I wanted to do this video today was to show that you can do perfectly valid analysis and the market will still go in the opposite direction and give you a -1R loss. But with all trading, losses are fine as long as they're kept small and under control, which is what we do with our correct position sizing here. So hopefully this has been a good training video to talk about losses as well as the profitable side of trading.